Hi from the Smithsonian American Art Museum in Washington, D.C. We are staff members, Becky Filter, video conference scheduler,
Allie Burns, distance learning coordinator,
and Peg Ketch, Reach Education Specialist.
and we are here to tell you about our free Artful Connections online programs. That's right, we said free. These programs can help you integrate art into your social studies, history, or English language arts curriculum, as well as art classes. Let us tell you a bit more about what we offer. Artful Connections programs are free video conference programs available from the Smithsonian American Art Museum, or SAM. SAM is one of 19 different museums, galleries, and the National Zoo that make up the Smithsonian Institution, the world's largest museum and research complex. Each museum within the Smithsonian operates independently and has separate collections. Artful Connections programs draw from SAM's collection only, so you won't find dinosaurs, airplanes, or the Angola prison tower in any of our programs. What you will find is artworks from one of the largest and most inclusive collections of American art anywhere in the world. So what exactly is an Artful Connections virtual tour? It's a live, interactive conversation that lasts from 40 to 60 minutes based on what works with your class schedule. We meet with one class at a time, so these are not assembly-style programs. Artful Connections programs use digitized artworks from our vast collection of over 45,000 artworks, and we explore America's rich artistic and cultural history and discuss the American experience and global connections from colonial times to the present. Through questions that prompt students to look closely at artworks and pull from prior knowledge, volunteers help students hone key skills such as critical thinking, visual literacy, and 21st century and analytical skills, and they are also aligned with national standards. Also, did I mention these programs are free? These interactive, conversation-driven, inquiry-based programs explore topics related to heritage, history, and art, and are appropriate for grades 3 through 12. We offer 11 different topics in 3 categories: looking at art, exploring history, and celebrating heritage. All of the topics are available for 5th grade and up, and many are also available for 3rd or 4th grade and up. The artworks and themes discussed are adapted based on the grade of your students, as well as any information that you might give about themes to focus on, artists you want to learn more about, or even where the program will fall in your unit.
In an Artful Connections lesson, artworks are used as primary source documents to learn about the chosen history, art, or heritage topic, but also as tools to teach students close looking and visual analysis skills. So I'd like to show you 2 examples of the way we work with artworks during an Artful Connections lesson. Our first example might be used in one of our Young America lessons. We'd show this artwork of the Boston Massacre and prompt students to break down what's happening here. How is each side of this conflict being depicted, and which side might be shown as the villains? What visual clues are being used to make us understand that? And then after they've had time to examine it and discuss what we'd see, we'd share the background information on this artwork, how it was made by Paul Revere, and we'd share information on how it differed from the reality of the event. So why might the artist have chosen to show this event this way? We'd then show an artwork by William H. Johnson from 1945, which shows the same event but differently. And we'd ask students to describe what's different from the other artwork and what's similar. We'd introduce the historic figure of Crispus Attucks, who is the figure on the ground, and we'd ask students to explore why the artist might have emphasized Attucks in this version of the events. So how are the 2 versions of the story being told differently? Our second example might be used in either a To See Is to Think lesson or a Latin American artist's lesson. And it contrasts 2 artworks by the same artist, Carmen Lomas Garza. Lomas Garza's artworks frequently explore her childhood growing up as a first-generation Mexican American in Texas. And so these artworks can be used to help students explore the immigrant experience. So for this artwork, we might ask students to step inside 2 different figures in the artwork, one of the girls and her mother, and view the world through the figure's eyes. What do they think that person's values might be, and how are they different? And we then share a quote from the artist about how the artwork tells the story of her mother supporting her reaching her dreams of being an artist. We can also talk about some of the visual qualities of the artwork, such as how the artist is using shapes to draw our focus through the artwork. We can also show a second artwork by the same artist. This one depicts a family gathered for a tamale making party. And with this artwork, students can look for items drawn from Lomas Garza's Mexican American heritage, such as the molcajete on the counter or the flamenco dancers on the calendar on the wall. So it's a great example of how we can explore heritage topics through art, but we can also discuss how the artist is using elements like shape and color to create a happy environment in this work. So also those visual elements as well. So these two examples showcase how we prompt students to look closely and critically, to examine artworks for evidence, to use them as complex texts, and then we also link those artworks back to the chosen subject and curricular area in our Artful Connections lessons.
Now that you've seen how great Artful Connections programs can be, you want one or more in your classroom, right? It's easy to request a program from SAM. Go to the SAM website at americanart.si.edu, click on Education at the top, scroll down and find classroom video conferences. Check out all our tour topics, select the one you want, and click the black Request button. You'll be taken to the Center for Interactive Learning and Collaboration, where you fill out a request form after creating a free user profile. And that's all there is to it.
So now it's your opportunity to even learn about more resources that the Smithsonian has. For example, Reach Rural Engagement in Art, Culture, and History is SAM's initiative to share our resources with as many rural educators and communities as possible. So we would like to know how you can use these resources in your classroom. We also want to know what your needs are and that there are resources that we can create to meet those. So feel free to contact me to be able to learn more about these resources and how we can collaborate together.
On our website, we've also got a ton of other resources. You can teach historical perspective taking, tackle critical thinking skills that extend across the curriculum through craft artworks, explore STEAM topics such as art conservation and chemistry, design thinking, ecosystems, and food webs, all with resources on our website. You can try out an SEL toolkit to journal using art to help students connect themselves to their emotions. And it doesn't stop there. We've got professional development opportunities, both live and archived from past PD sessions, activities for art making at home, and even videos of living artists talking about their works in the SAM collection. Whew, that's a lot. Don't get overwhelmed. Visit the Smithsonian American Art Museum website to see all of the fantastic resources available for yourself. And when you need someone to point you in the right direction, get in touch with one of us. We're happy to help you find the resources that you need.